In this video, I will highlight for you all the new features that are coming in WordPress 6.5. This will be the first major release of WordPress in 2024, and I must say that I'm quite excited and I really want to share with you all the beautiful new features that are coming to WordPress in less than a month. In fact, this new release is scheduled for March 26. So, this is the right moment to dive in and get ready to all the beautiful news that are coming to WordPress. Hi, my name is Pascal and I'm the founder of WP Roads, which is a YouTube channel and a website where I share news, tutorials and reviews about WordPress. So, if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. I'll leave you in the description down below the link to the WP Tavern post, where you will be able to find all the insights about WordPress 6.5, in case you want to dive deeper. In this post, you will find a very interesting link, which is this one, that you can use to create a fresh new testing environment all about WordPress 6.5. In fact, this testing environment, it's already configured with all you need to test this new version of WordPress, and it will be very useful in case you want to follow along during the video and test yourself the new features that I'm showing you. So if you want, just go here, click on the link, and you will see this new WordPress installation will be ready for you to test WordPress 6.5. Now, this is the website that I'm using to show you all the news that are coming to WordPress 6.5, and it's all built with this new version of WordPress and the default 2024 theme. Let's start by seeing some cool new features that are coming into some blocks. For example, here we have in the group block the ability to add some background images. Let's see how this works. We can go and add a group inside the Gutenberg editor, and we can select the kind of group that we want. For example, this one. We can now add some content, like some headings or some images, whatever we want. Let's say that we want to add an heading and a button. Now we can just select the group, and we'll see that inside here in the design, in the styles tab, we will have a new option called background. We can choose a background image, open from media library or upload directly from here. And then once selected, the image will be in the background of the group, which is great. Now, as you can see, we do not have an option to add an overlay color. So I think that the team will add this in the future. Maybe we are still in beta, so when this feature will be released, there also will be an overlay color right here. Right now, what you can do is just add some size options like this. For example, we can contain, we can make it fixed like this. We can contain and repeat, which is kind of nice. And of course, we can go back here in the text color and adjust it like this. If I go on the group options, styles, I can also change the padding and margin and so on, and position all the elements differently inside the group. So this is a cool feature. It needs, of course, some improvement, most of all for the background overlay color, but it's great, I think, because it adds some great flexibility to the group block. Of course, here we also have the positioning, so we can play around with it. And as you can see, we can create some cool designs. This looks nice. Let's see another small improvement now, which is about the cover block. Don't worry, because we are leaving all the cool, powerful, and very interesting stuff for the end of the video. So now I will simply add a cover block. If I go and click on the cover block now, I will see that in the style options, there will be an overlay that will be automatically applied and selected based on the image. For example, here, if I replace the image, I will see a different color being applied to the overlay. You see? This is kind of helpful, I think, and it's a nice improvement, a nice feature. And of course, we can also improve the contrast like this using the overlay opacity, and this is quite useful. Now let's go back to the dog, and we will also be able to set up now an aspect ratio. This is quite helpful because sometimes we just need the image that we place inside the cover block to stay with the same aspect ratio, whatever image it's put inside the block. Okay, let's give it square aspect ratio, you see? We can give it a portrait one. And this is quite useful, for example, if we are using the cover block in our blog post template, for example. And if we want to make sure that all our images will still look the same, regardless of the dimension of the image, or also of the device from which we are seeing the images. For example, as you can see here, I'm switching to mobile and my images are staying like this. So let's see what happens if I have a cover block without this aspect ratio inside. So this is great, as you can see, because we can keep the proportion also on mobile, for example, and instead of having this not so good effect that will happen if we do not apply, as you can see here, an aspect ratio to the image, to the cover block in this case. Let's go on with another small and nice improvement. There are some blocks like the column, the button, and the image block that are receiving now support for box shadow. So let's see it in action. Let's go back to the desktop view and let's add a button, for example. Now we can go into the button styling options, and you'll see that in the border and shadow down here, if you click on the three dots menu, you will find the shadow option right here. Okay. If we apply this shadow option, you will have this new menu here, which comes with some presets you see here. We are not able at the moment to change colors or any other value of the shadows. It's kind of a starting point. I can apply them. As you can see, the button will now have some shadows. We can apply the same effects also to images and to columns. So if we go down here and we add an image, for example, we will find that in the options for this image, we will find also the shadow. You see here, shadow. You just need to add it, right? This, and you will have a shadow effect like this. Okay, it's something very, very, might you say, limited right now, but a starting point, of course. Now let's switch to the list view. Right here, we can now finally rename any block that we want. Before, we could just rename group blocks. We go here, we click on rename, and we can rename the block, of course, my section. But now we can also rename any other block. For example, these buttons, I can go here and rename them simply clicking here and saying call to action, for example, CTA, save. And this is great. And there is also another small improvement, as you can see here. I can right click whatever I want here on the block, and I will see the menu for this block appearing. Before we had to click on the menu to see all the options that we had about any block on the list view, but now we can right click right inside here, as you can see, and the menu will open up like this. There's also another small improvement here regarding the drag and drop experience. You see that now instead of seeing the line that appears when you are dragging and dropping stuff around, you just see the block now appearing where you are moving it. It's easier to see what you are doing right now. It works very well. Very appreciated improvement. Okay, now we are ready to discover one of my favorite features of WordPress 6.5. Let's see now how partially synced pattern works in WordPress 6.5. We will start with an example. I have on my home page a partially synced pattern, which is my newsletter call to action. As you can see here, there is a design, so a border radius, a button, a paragraph, and a heading. And this is built using standard Gutenberg blocks. And in particular, I have a group that contains all these elements. I have added the same synced pattern to my blog posts. For example, inside here, I have a blog post, which is this one, with exactly the same synced pattern. But what happens now if I want to have another blog post, for example, where I'm promoting, let's say, a different kind of call to action, because maybe in this blog post I'm talking about my free online course. Let's see what happens. I can simply use the same synced pattern, but in this case it's a partially synced pattern. So it means that I can change the content, like the title, the description in this case, the button, and even the link of the button, without having to detach this pattern from the main synced pattern. So this simply means that if I want to change the styling of my sync pattern, they will now change for all my patterns, even for this one that has different content. Let's see how it works. I go and edit my post now. I click on the synced pattern. I click on edit original, and I will see my original sync pattern. From here, I can simply select the pattern and go and change whatever I want. For example, let's say that I want to add a different background to my call to action. I click on update, and now if I go back in my blog post, I will see that the pattern is updated. And the same for all my other sync patterns. Voila, as you can see here, the styling has changed. So this is great. Basically, it means that we can use the same sync patterns, but we can change the content based on the page that we are in. Okay, now let's create a sync pattern and discover how partially sync pattern works together. We will create a group and a call to action. We will insert inside here a heading, and we will say subscribe to our newsletter. Down here, I will add a paragraph. By the way, if you want to join my WP Roads WordPress community, you can subscribe clicking on the link below this video. Now we can select the group, okay, and we can add some styling elements. For example, we can add a background color like this one, and we can add some padding. Let's put them like this. Perfect. Okay, let's update now. And if we want to use this block as a sync pattern, we just need to click on the three dots here and click on Create Pattern. Right now, we can give it a name. It will be my newsletter CTA number 3. And I can also assign some categories. For example, my CTA, I have created a CTA category, and you can also create new categories directly from this screen. For example, you can call it special sections, special groups. And you can just press enter and this category will be created automatically for you. You can choose here if you want to create it as a synced one or unsynced. In this case, I need it to be synced because I want that this block it's synced wherever I put it in my website. I create it and voila, this is my call to action. Let's see what happens if I simply add this call to action to other places in my website. So now it's in this page. Let's say that in my blog post, for example, in this blog post, and I simply search for it. So newsletter in this case, and it's my number 3. And if you want, you can also click on the plus icon here, click on patterns, and you will have it in your patterns or directly into your categories. For example, CTA category, voila, this is my new sync pattern. Okay, and you can recognize it because it's a little bit, it's a violet color, okay. Okay, so this is my call to action. I update, I will see my post, and the same pattern now, it's also on my demo page, this one. Okay, so we have the same sync pattern. Now, basically, if we want to edit this sync pattern, we can click on it and we can click on edit original. You see here, this opens up this new interface where we can just edit our sync pattern. And when we finish, we can just click on back right up here. Let's say that now we want to add a different border. Let's go on styles. We have a border now here. We put it about 5 and we update. Of course, now we can see that if we reload the page where our sync pattern is inserted, it will be automatically updated. Perfect. Same here on my demo page. Voila, the pattern, it's updated. But what happens now if, for example, in this blog post, instead of promoting my newsletter, I want to promote maybe an ebook. And so I want to change the content of this sync pattern. This is possible now thanks to the new features of WordPress 6.5. We select now our pattern, we go on Edit Original, and we see that inside here, if we select the different elements, in this case the heading, the paragraph, and the button, we can go on the Advanced tab on the right side, and we can see that there is a new option called Pattern Overrides. If I click here on Allow Instance Overrides, basically it will allow me to change this content without affecting the whole sync pattern. So now let's do it for all the elements and then let's see together how it works. I select also my paragraph here under the Advanced tab. I select Pattern Overrides, okay. And the same here for my button. I go on the Advanced tab and I select the Pattern Overrides option. Okay, now I update. And if I go on my blog post, go back here, okay. And I decide to change now some content right here. This will not affect the other sync patterns, but will only affect this particular sync pattern. This is great. So I go inside here and I say download. Okay, I change also here my text. I can change whatever I want. I can also go and change the text here. Download now. And I can even change the link. And this would not affect the main button and the main link of my main sync pattern. Okay, let's update. I go and visit my post and I see that my sync pattern is now different because it has different content. But my main pattern, the one that I'm using in my demo page here, it's still the same, you see? Subscribe to our newsletter. This is great because now if I simply want to change the styling of this pattern, it works still as a normal sync pattern. So I go inside here, I edit my original one. I go inside here, I change, for example, my border. I change the color, I add maybe a border radius like this, let's say 20 pixels, update. I will go and see now the same pattern on my blog post, the sync pattern, and voila. The styling has updated, but not the content. So the content is still based in this case on my specific page. While in the other page, where I have the same synced pattern, they're all still the original contents. And now let's dive into the site editor. If you're using a theme that supports full site editing, you will see now inside the site editor a lot of new improvements. For example, if we go back here, we'll see that we can quickly access all our pages and manage them right inside the site editor. We can also click on Manage All Pages down here, and we will be able to see a list of all our pages, and I believe that this will be added soon also to our blog posts. We can search. For example, if I want to search a specific page, I'll do like this, and the page is not refreshed. As you can see, it's an instant search. It's very fast and impressive. I can also add some filters, author, status of the page, and so on. I can quickly reset filters if I want to see all my pages that are still in draft, for example. And there are no pages in draft at the moment, but I can also reset filters and so on. Here on the right side, I can also change layout. This is great. I love this one. You can switch from table to grid. If you use a grid layout, you will see a preview of all your pages, including the featured image, which is great. So you can have a quick preview of all your pages like this. We can also find a bulk edit feature that allows us to move to trash, restore, delete, select all, or deselect, and so on, which is very useful. And directly from here, we are able to add new page. We can go on like this, create a draft page, and voila, we can simply edit our page directly from here. You can also choose here if you want to view the page, move to trash, edit the page, or view revisions. This one, it's great because if you click on edit page right now, you're going to do it inside the site editor. This was not happening before, but now, as you can see right here, you are inside the site editor and you're just editing your page. There are some difference between the site editor and the standard Gutenberg editor. For example, there is this common palette inside here. There is also this quick access to the styling of the whole website, the global styling. And of course here, if you click on the logo, instead of being redirected to the standard WordPress dashboard, you will still see the site editor. This is great. So basically you can edit your pages and stay into the site editing experience. So basically what we see here is that we are slowly switching to a site editor experience throughout our whole website. And this is likely to come in 2024. We will see more and more parts of this old WordPress dashboard slowly converging into this new site editing experience. Personally, I love it, and I'm curious to know what you think about it in the comment section below. Now there is also a cool improvement in revisions regarding the styling of our website. If we go here in the style book, for example, or simply we activate the styles option, we can see that now we have the revisions option and we can find them like right this. And this is kind of a preview of all the revisions that we will have also on pages and blog posts later on. And it's kind of nice because we can preview all the changes that we made to the website in time, you see, like this, like this. Let's say that I want to switch back, for example, to this one. I can click here and my whole website will go back to this revision. We can even see the unsaved revisions, and this opens up all the possibilities that we have to also work in collaboration with other people. This is very nice and useful. And of course, the same system will come to pages and posts, as I was mentioning, because right now inside pages, we have the old revisions interface, which is this one, which is kind of difficult to use if you're not used to delve into code. So imagine to have the same system, this one, applied to single pages and posts. This will be very, very useful. Most of all because in the next phase of WordPress, we will see that many features regarding team collaboration will come out, and we will of course need this robust revision system. This is more a technical new feature, which is the new interactivity API. And as a non-technical user, what I understood about this is that later on inside WordPress, we will see more and more features that will be very, very futuristic in terms of speed and performance. For example, here I can easily navigate this preview website, which is based all on this new interactivity API, and you will see that each page loads instantaneously. Let's go here, you see, wow, it's a fraction of a second, and I can simply go and view all the different content of this website, and I can also interact like for example, putting like on some films here, and everything is saved, as you can see here on the right side of the page. And I can even go and search for films, for example, cars, and I can have an instantaneous preview of my search. For example, in this way, I can even play a trailer of the film, and it will play like this in the background while I am browsing the website, and I can quickly go and view while the video is still here, and I can even interact with all the pages and like, for example, and everything gets very, very fast and impressive. This is the future. And if I'm not wrong, I think that the whole new system is based on this new technology that makes everything very fast and smooth, as we can see when we are using the site editor. Now let's go and see the last beautiful news coming to WordPress 6.5, which is the new font management system. To find how it works, we just need to go and open the site editor. We will go on typography now, and we will see fonts here and a little icon here to manage fonts. This one. Okay. This is the interface. It's minimal, beautiful, and very, very powerful at the same time. We can have a preview of our font library here, which are all the fonts that are installed on our website. We can upload custom fonts right from this page, or we can install Google Fonts. This is great. The first time that you click on install fonts, you will see a window appearing here asking if you want to connect with Google Fonts to download them and be able to install them directly into your website. For example, here, if I choose to install one of these fonts, for example, this one, okay, I select the variation, I click on install, and what happens is that the system directly downloads this font from Google Fonts and it uploads it to my website. So I can use it without having to rely on Google Fonts. That's huge. And of course, I will go back on my library and I will see this font right here, ready to be used on my website. So now when I click here on the close button, I will see that my fonts are now available right inside here. And if I go inside any block that has fonts, I will see my new fonts available and ready to be applied. Let's see, for example, if I want to change my headings fonts, I go on the style book here, I select my headings, I scroll down to the typography option, and I see that I can select a different kind of font. And in particular, I see my April fat face right now, which is the font that I have just uploaded through Google Fonts. Let's select this one. Voila! It's very easy, simple, minimal, and it does what it says. Font management. Let me know in the comment section below which are your favorite features coming in WordPress 6.5. I'm very curious to know what are your thoughts, what you think would be the WordPress future in 2024 and beyond. Do you think that it will still remain the main CMS in the world? Let me know in the comment section below. Here is Pascal from WP Roads, and see you in the next video.